Beautiful, thank you. Well, good morning. What a lovely day to be here, and what a lovely day to be inside. It's going to be toasty out there. Yes, so we're blessed to have an indoor and an outdoor sanctuary. My name is Connie Carter. I am privileged to serve on your board, and it is also my privilege to welcome everybody here to our Sunday service. Those of you right here. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Not too well? How about now? I'll pay more attention. My pleasure to welcome those of you who are right here and those of you who are joining us online. Thank you so much for being here with us together on our Sunday service. Please take this moment to silence your cell phone. They go off at the darndest times, so let's just make that not happen today. Go ahead and silence, turn it off. Thank you very much for doing that. Today we are blessed to have Craig Stephen Phillips here with us. His talk title will be Swimming in the Ocean of the Tao, which sounds so refreshing. So I'm sure it will be in many ways. So yes, thank you for that. And then our musical guest is Hitoshi Suzuki, who is a new father, a brand new dad. So congratulations very much, and welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, it's our joy, for sure. Let's see. I'm also going to do a board update now. As you know, Unity of Tustin has been involved in integral ministry practice. We're getting involved in that. More and more things are coming online, such as the spirit groups, such as our new membership setup, such as the quantum living process, which many of us have done or are in the midst of doing. So that's coming online, all sorts of things for the integral ministry practice. And the weekly updates, this is another one of those things that we are introducing and doing and so forth. And there's more to come. We're bringing more and more things on little by little, and it's very exciting, such that I'd like to share that Unity of Tustin is becoming known throughout the Unity movement as a prototype for the integral ministry. Yes, we are being seen as forerunners and leaders and innovators and evolutionaries. So we are being seen and recognized, yes. So it's very exciting because that's who we are. That's who we are, and that's what we do. Let's see here. Other updates, the preschool, we are scheduling a pre-licensing walkthrough so that we're having a nationally known mentor and coach and so forth coming through and walking the property to make sure that it's even feasible before we go forward and spend a lot of money on updates and upgrades and so forth, only to be told, oh no, sorry, you can't do it. So that's going on. We anticipate them saying yes. No, we do. And then after that, we'll go ahead and go forth into the permitting process. Then we'll do the upgrades that we'll need to do, such as fencing and fire alarms and things like that. Then we will do interviews and so forth with the people who would like to be the licensee here. And we have 6 applications already, very interesting parties. Yeah, people want to be here with us. What happens after that? Oh, the contract. So we'll work very stringently on that to make sure that everything works well for us and for them. And being part of it every step of the way will be Erin, because she is key. She is key. That's her house over there. So Erin will be part of it. And then finally, one other interest point here is that a letter addressed to me arrived here at the church, and I opened it up, and it was from a real estate development company offering to purchase our property. And I'm like, well, we're not doing that. So I nearly threw the letter away. And then I'm like, well, just wait. Just out of curiosity, let's see what they're talking about. So I called them up, making it crystal clear, we're not doing it, but, what have you got to tell us? And so, well, you got to know your options. And so they sent us a formal, legit 6-page purchase offer for our property for $7 million. $7 million. So what that tells us, again, let me be crystal clear, we're not doing it, but let me be, we're not, but it just makes it all the more obvious and clear what a jewel we have here. We have a jewel here, and we really do. So it is, yeah, and we've always known it and so forth, but this just reiterates, my goodness. So it is up to us to be the stewards of this property and to maintain it and to improve it and to do whatever it takes to hold on to it and so forth. And we're just blessed. And so I just thought you guys would like to know that. And so now let me turn this over to our lovely song leaders. If we stand, and we will do our congregational song. I release and I let go.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm only here for God.
I think we need to practice that one and get faster, huh? Thank you, Maricela and Jeff. That was great. Good morning. And greetings to all of you here in this lovely air-conditioned sanctuary, and to those of you relaxing at home online. My name is Patty Higgins. I'm one of your prayer chaplains, and it is my honor to start today's service by lighting the Christ candle and reading our daily word. And I forgot to test and locate. Behind the bowl, okay. Thank you, Craig. Okay. Okay, so the Christ light represents the divine light in each and everyone, everywhere. Thank you, Craig. Today's daily word is reflection. The Bible reading comes from 2 Corinthians verse 3:18. And all of us, seeing the glory of the Lord as though reflected in a mirror, are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. God, the one creative presence and energy in our universe, expresses through all people, through our natural world, through music and art and all of life, I feel of the presence of the divine within us. I behold the wonders around us. The divine is reflected in the light shimmering on the oceans and lakes, through crystals refracting the prisms, off leaves, and through your eyes. I hear the Creator in life's harmonies and movements. This brilliance energizes me and all I express. Living from my divinity, I radiate the healing love that connects our world. Today's affirmation, which I'll ask you to repeat after I say it, is, I reflect the brilliant light of God. Together, I reflect the brilliant light of God. Hitoshi.
So as we come to pray this morning, even the song that we just heard, Toshi, playing so beautifully, is a prayer, isn't it? Everything is a prayer. So I invite you, as we come to pray today, to bring your hands into a prayer position if you like. Make sure the back of your hands are touching your heart, center of your chest, or you can use your right palm to make contact with the heart. Because this is the space that we pray from, the heart, not the mind, with its constant desires, its constant pleadings. Make my life different, give me this, give me that. If we sink down into the heart today, we find that all our needs are met. And then perhaps the only prayer we have is thank you. Breathe into the heart this gratitude this morning. Feel like you have an opening in the middle of your chest. You can draw the breath of gratitude for your life, for all that you have, for all you've been given, for the gift of being here this morning. You're not at home sleeping in your bed. You're awake. And if there is something that you feel you're lacking this morning, something that you really need as you look at your life right now, open to that. What would you ask God for if you could be given one wish this morning? And you know that God is going to give you exactly what you asked for. What would you ask for in your prayer? Bring it to one word. And breathe the feeling of that word into your heart. As you breathe out, feel that feeling flowing through the field of your being. Feel as if your prayer is already answered. In this depth, all prayers are answered. In the ocean of God's presence, everything is known. So with that, we'll be hearing from Hitoshi again, another beautiful song to be grateful for. The great Sufi master and poet Rumi said, "You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop." Let yourself rest in the ocean this morning. Whatever challenges that you've been going through, even whatever was on your mind as you got ready to come here this morning, let go of it all. Let go of the story that I can meditate or I can't meditate. Let go of all efforting and struggle. Let yourself dissolve into the ocean of God's presence that is here this morning. Do you feel it? Listen. Get a sense that your body is like a big lump of salt. And as you are dropped into this ocean, you dissolve into it. No more boundaries. No more thoughts that you're not enough or that you need to do something or get something in order to be who you are. You are this ocean of the Tao. And in this ocean this morning, we rest. We rest. We rest. Get the feeling that this is enough. What more could you want? As you come to your breath, just feel it flow in and flow out like the tide of the ocean. Your very life happening now. Breathing in from the ocean, breathing out into the ocean. And as you draw your next in-breath, repeat to yourself, breathing in, I have arrived. Breathing out, I am home in the ocean of the Tao. Breathing in, I have arrived. Breathing out, I am at home in the ocean of God. Feel it. I invite you to continue resting this morning. Nothing that I really say in the Dharma talk will be as important as what we're doing now. In fact, you'll notice that the words I use simply point us back to what we're doing now. So stay in touch with that, with this. That's the practice. The ocean of God's presence is not at a special time or when we're doing spiritual practices. It is always now, always available. So rest. The great Taoist sage Zhuangzi once said, all the fish needs is to get lost in the water. All man needs is to get lost in the Tao. Some of you are swimming in that ocean now, lost in the truth of what you are, which is the ocean of awareness, the ocean of being, the ocean of God's presence, which is here and now and nowhere else. Notice. Many sages have use the analogy or the example of God being an ocean. Sometimes the metaphor of a lake is used. And in Taoism, also the metaphor of a river that flows. In Taoism, they use the river and the sea. Lao Tzu said, Tao in the world is like a river flowing home to the sea. That would be all of you. The river flowing home to the sea. And of course, that doesn't mean when you leave your body, although that will be true. We can merge into the sea right now, as many of you are doing. We can be one with this infinite ocean of intelligence, even as we live the life of an individual. Where does our power come from, if not this ocean of divine intelligence? This metaphor of the ocean is really beautiful. If we look at the ocean, there's so much life going on under the surface, isn't there? If you were to ask a starfish, do you know the water? And the starfish could answer you, it would say, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you were able to put a whale in a psychiatrist's chair, tell me about the problems going on in the ocean. The whale would look at you like, what are you talking about? There's only harmony and oneness in the ocean. In fact, we're not even aware of it. We're so merged with it. We're so one with it. The sages say that each of us is like a wave coming out of this ocean. Get a sense of yourself as this wave this morning. As the wave rises from the ocean, it is still a part of the ocean. Perhaps some of you have been to Hawaii or other places where you've seen these beautiful waves with beautiful, the surfers call them barrels, hollowed out, and some are magnificent, 15 stories high. And these waves rise from the power of the ocean. They have their life, they peak, and then what do? They crash. And where do they go? Back into the ocean. They don't say when they crash, thank you, ocean. I've had enough. I'm going to live my individual life now and be very powerful on land. You've given me everything I need. No, they willingly flow back into the source of their power to form another wave. Of course, there we can get into the topic of reincarnation, but that's not the Dharma talk today. If we look and we feel into this today, the wave is never separate from the ocean, is it? Not one moment does it cut itself off from that power. Not once is the starfish separate from the ocean. Not once is the whale thinking, it's got to handle the ocean. I am separate from this great power that gives me my life. Thank you very much, ocean. I can take it from here. And then it forms the whale government. And they have the whale currency. Yeah, you sharks, okay, we've got to divide this up here. You stay over in your area, we'll stay in our area. Let's not get mixed up here. We, as the individual wave, at some point in our evolution, we have lost touch with the truth that we are the ocean of God. We never leave it. We are never not being lived by that, if you look. However, at some point as we grow up, and this happens very, very early on, we are conditioned to feel that we are this individual. This, as Eckhart Tolle calls it, little me. And this little me has the responsibility of taking care of itself and being in control of this ocean, making a life the way that it wants to. And when it doesn't like what happens, it resists what happens and tries to change it. Little by little, this power of the wave, as it forgets, becomes completely identified with this body. Temporary, right? Temporary body, temporary mind, temporary story, temporary circumstances. And in that identification with this identity, we begin to suffer. Doesn't it make sense that if you're cut off from the source of what's living you, you're going to suffer? You're not going to be happy. How can you be? You pull a starfish out of the ocean, it dies quickly. Its life force is over. A fish. Jesus said it this way. It's like a branch being cut off from the tree. I'm paraphrasing, but this is what he was pointing to. It's like the leaf of a giant oak tree suddenly thinking, if it could think, thank God it can't, oh, I'm this leaf and I'm in charge of the whole tree. I'm in charge of it all. Not feeling anymore its connection to this beautiful tree that is literally giving it its life. This is what happens to individuals when we come to the earth. We get completely cut off from the source of our life. And the source of your life is God. Are you breathing you right now? Did you have to think about that before I said it? Are you beating your heart? Are you taking care of yourself? God is this infinite ocean of intelligence and awareness that is giving rise not only to this individual, but to everyone that you see here has its life in the Tao. Every tree, the chair, the walls, and out. The whole infinite cosmos is contained in the ocean of the Tao. Nothing can have its life outside of that. But human beings, boy, do we think we do. In our search, in our wanting to control and be in charge and resist this creation, we create, again, a lot of suffering for ourselves, don't we? The more that we suffer, it seems, the more that we get caught in this limited identity, this limited focal point that looks at the world and has to take care of itself, that's filled with fear and anxiety, that's filled with the sense of threat. I've got to take care of myself. And what begins to happen as we become more and more identified with, let's say it this way, the mind, because the mind is generating this feeling of being a separate me. Notice that. Why do you think you're a you? Because you think. Notice that. Who's aware of the thoughts? That's a bigger question. Something in you, in there, is aware of your thinking this morning. Rest in that. The more we get lost in the story of me, and another great question would be, who would you be without your story? The story that you have to take care of yourself. The story of judgment. The story of my life is hard, or I have every reason to be angry, or on and on these stories go, because the more and more we become identified with this little me, the more separate we feel from others. Isn't it true? That's not me out there. I would never act that way. Those people over there, oh no, I would never do that. I'm not one with them. Everything is one. And because we've lost touch with this oneness, what we begin to see in the world is a reflection or projection of our predominant thoughts. And by the way, quantum physics knows this is true for sure. I never bought this till about 10 or 15 years ago. I've talked about this before. I could do a whole Dharma talk on this. But it basically works this way. In the feeling of being this little me, this separate ego, let's say that your predominant thoughts fall along the line of, let's just pick anything, anger, right? You will look outside and you will see everything you need outside of you to be angry in your life. Oh my God, the political parties. Oh my God, I can't believe my uncle is doing this again. I can't believe they're talking like that at work. On, and the anger grows in us. Pick anything. If you tend to be really, really sad, the world will project back to you everything to be sad about. I see a lot of you nodding. If you're jealous, all the stuff will be there to be jealous of. If you're distracted, you'll be continually distracted, right, from who you are. There's a lot of distractions in the world, isn't there? This projection happens from the inside out, from the little me out. And everything shows up the way we project it to be. It's like a movie. This is why if you meet people that are predominantly joyful and peaceful, their life tends to be in harmony and peaceful. It's not magic. It's just that they're peaceful here, right? They're joyful here. They've let go of trying to manipulate and control life into being some way that they can now say, I'm happy. I've got it all. It's all worked out for me for a moment. And then it crashes like a sandcastle on the ocean. There it goes. Oh my God, I thought my life was, look at, there it goes back. Sandcastle I spent 40 years building has just suddenly been washed away by the water. Oh no. Right? Many of you are laughing, right? We've all been through that. The more separate we feel, the more problematic our life is. I'll say it that way. The more separate you feel from the ocean of God's presence, from the truth of who you are, the more problematic your life will be. Look and see. Look and see. It's all what we focus on. The truth is, we've been told by every sage, is that when you look out here, it's all God. Everything is a reflection of the Tao. There is nothing that is separate from that. We just judge it to be a certain way. Of itself, it's like a blank canvas, right? We look out, you get what you project, but the Tao will give it all to you. You want suffering and pain and drama? Oh, you'll get a life of drama and pain and suffering. You want joy? You want peace? You want love and light? The Tao will give you that in abundance. Right here and now, it's available. There's a great story that illustrates what I'm saying that I just heard recently. And it's about a professor who was in Japan, and he went into his class one day, and he said to the class, we're going to have a surprise test today. And so he went around and he placed the test face down on all the desks as he went around. And then he said to his class, now turn the test over. They turned the test over. It was a blank sheet of paper with a little black dot in the middle. And he said, I now want you to write and tell me about what you see. And so they all went to work like this. Toward the end of the class, he collected all the papers and he began to read each one out loud. When he got to the end of all the papers, he looked at the class and he said, did you notice that All of you wrote about the black dot in the middle of the paper. None of you wrote about the huge white space that is surrounding the black dot. Are you following me? This is what we do. The black dot is our ego, our sense of our little me. And we're so laser focused on its little problems and the things that people said to us that upset us, and if only it could be that way, and why don't they change? And we're constantly focused on this negative aspect of little me. When that barrier breaks down and we begin to merge into this spaciousness around the black dot, look at that sunset. That song I'm hearing is just exquisite. That bite of food is amazing. There's so much to be grateful for. We begin to merge. This is the ocean. Look here. The space is the ocean we're sitting in. Isn't it like an ocean? What are you going to focus on? Because you get what you choose. You get what you choose. Even now, as I continue to speak for a moment, we can be aware of that greater space of God's presence. It's right here. We're swimming in it. We have the ocean that has water. We move in and around in an ocean of space, don't we? Notice this. Without the space, I couldn't do this. Without the space, there'd be no bodies. There'd be no room for the chairs, no room for creation. The Taoists say there's something going on in this space that we never think about or notice. It's said that Taoist masters, they cultivate spatial awareness. They actually cultivate the feeling of the space they move through in their life. The space allows you to move and have your life, just like the ocean allows all the fish to move around and come and go. And notice, if you really go deep into this, you might close your eyes. This space is not just in the sanctuary, it goes out for millions of light years, and it holds all those planets and all those life forms. I guarantee you, the extraterrestrials that are out at Alpha Centauri or wherever, they're moving around in space too. Everything has its life in this ocean of awareness. Quantum physics tell us this space is not dead or inert. It is alive with energy and consciousness. It is present. You would not know you were here today, sitting, listening to me, if it weren't for the space you're sitting in. Please breathe this truth in. It holds everything. When we begin to focus on the source of our life again, more than the problems in the little me, we begin to actually be able to be at ease as we flow through this life. Everything has a beautiful joy as we surrender the burden of me. Isn't it a burden? I don't know about you. I got to the point I get so tired of carrying that around on my shoulders. Let it go. The burden of you and handling you. Drop into this ocean of intelligence that's living you. And then, as so many of my teachers say, then see what happens. They don't tell you what'll happen. They just say, see what happens, right? There's another story that I came across this week, another beautiful Zen story. I'd never heard this before. It's very, very powerful. And this was about a sumo wrestler. His name was Onami. I hope I'm saying that right, Hitashi. Onami means great wave. That was his name, great wave. So he was a sumo wrestler, and he had one of the greatest teachers in Japan. And Onami got so good at wrestling that whenever his master would bring someone in to wrestle him, he defeated everybody in private. He got so good that he defeated his teacher. Wow. But every time that he wrestled in public, he got shy. And he had no confidence in his abilities, and he lost every match. And he started to go into despair. What is going on? So, as I love these stories, Onami, the great wave, decided, I think I need to go see a Zen master about this problem. Well, wouldn't you know? Nankuju was just visiting the nearby temple, one of the greatest Zen masters in Japan. So Onami, the great wave, went to visit him. And he went into the meditation hall and he sat down and he told the master his problem. Every time that I wrestle, I defeat everyone. But then when it's in public, I lose my abilities, my confidence, and then I get defeated. So the Zen master looked at him and he said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to sit here in the temple tonight and I want you to meditate. And he said, your name means great wave. I want you to meditate on being the great wave that you are, and then see what happens. So the Zen master retired, and Onami went into meditation. And all he found was agitation. He tried to visualize himself as a big tidal wave and tried to visualize himself as all these waves. It wasn't working. But then he got exhausted. And he started to feel himself as the power of a wave that was flowing in his being. And it is said that this power flowed out from him and became the ocean. And the ocean washed over all the flowers in the temple, over the floor, and it rose in him and around him. It washed over even the statues of the Buddha. It became the infinite ocean. In the morning, Nankuju returned. And he walked into the temple and he found Onami still in meditation with a slight Buddha smile on his lips. And he was radiant. He sat down in front of him. Onami opened his eyes and the master looked at him and said, now nothing in this world will bother you. You have become the ocean. No mention of wrestling. Something better happened that night. Onami woke up to who he was in truth, the ocean of awareness, the ocean of power, the ocean of God. He didn't care anymore about whether he defeated anybody in private or in public. What else can you know or be given if you wake up to your true nature? In that, you discover everything, and you're given everything. Isn't this what all the sages tell us our spiritual path is about? In one way or the other, to return to the ocean of your existence, to the ocean of power that is living you and looking through your eyes right now. Is there anything else they describe or point to? And the question is, do you know that? Do you know that? Do you want to know that? Do you long every day to return to the ocean, to the root of your existence, and live from there? Because only in that, the great sages say, will you find the peace that you are looking for. Only in knowing yourself will you know others very well. Do we know that? Lao Tzu said, understand this, if nothing else. Spiritual freedom and oneness with the Tao are not randomly bestowed gifts, but the rewards of conscious self-transformation and self-evolution. The mind can ask, how can I return to this ocean and live from it? Number one, you have to want it. Lao Tzu said, and it's one of my favorite verses, some of you have probably heard me mention this before. Those who wander in the world and who have forgotten where they come from, they wander in suffering and sorrow. When we are cut off from the root of our life, from the source of our life, isn't it true? We stumble in confusion and sorrow. Lao Tzu says, the person of the Tao cares about nothing but the Tao, but the ocean, and lives from there. And the reason is because it's very simple, really. That's where we find peace. That's where we find joy. That's where we find purpose. When our life flows from that great power, we are that power. We don't have to figure out what to do. We'll know what to do at the time that we need to do it. Can you trust that greatly, that deeply? In that ocean, we learn to trust. We remember, let go. Let go into that ocean and be who you are. The good news is you don't have to look for this in the outer world. The good news, it's looking through your eyes right now. It is who you are. Swim in that. Don't swim in your mind. The moment you try to go into your head and figure yourself out or figure out what I'm saying, notice you lose this. Let it go, take a breath, rest again in the presence that's here with us, in you and around you. Only now, only here can this be known. You're not going to figure this out 6 months from now. Through letting go now, we rest in that flow. And it carries us back into the sea, as Lao Tzu said. For those who have had enough of suffering, you're ready. Laughing. If you're done with your suffering, you're ready. In fact, you don't even have to make a choice anymore. Take me. Start swimming in the Tao like this. Every moment of every day. And again, until we know this, our life becomes more and more problematic. Just keep noticing that. There comes a time when you have a choice. You can drop that any time that you want. Sit still. Take a breath. The mind may be asking, this is all fine and well, I agree with this intellectually, but how do I get back to that? I'll tell you how. It's called meditation. I'm sure that none of you are surprised that I'm talking about this. And when I speak about meditation, I speak from my own experience. I would not have said the things I've said today if it were not true in my experience. I don't talk about things that are not true for me. That's Dharma. The flowing outward and into this ocean of intelligence happens, and every sage has said this, through being still, coming home within and resting. Most people I meet are not resting enough. They're so busy doing. Meditation is being what you are, not figuring yourself out with more thinking. More concepts, more theories, another book. You're laughing because you know it's true. I was there. It's a really great day when you get to the point that when the spiritual book comes, the new one that someone's getting, you open up to the first few pages and you said, you know what? I've read this in 50 other books. That's enough. I think I'll just sit and breathe and be present. All of you have heard me say this before, and I always say this is going to be very provocative for some of you. But we're living in a time where the truth needs to be spoken. All my teachers have said. I haven't met a teacher who hasn't said. If a return to the ocean of the Tao is what you want and to be lived from that in peace, meditation is essential. It is the essential practice. And for those of you resisting that, and I meet you, I would look at what your mind is conning you about. Just look at what your mind is up to. Your mind will only cooperate in your spiritual awakening for so long, and then it will get very clever. I'm tired tonight. I don't need to meditate. I can read this book. Whatever. It has all of these excuses because it does not want us to sit down and rediscover again this peace and joy, this harmony that we long for. It will lead you in circles, your mind. But again, for those of you who have had enough of the suffering, you will take to meditation like a fish to the water, and you will be rewarded mightily. Very quickly, you'll start to find the peace and the joy, the harmony that you long for. Isn't it true, Bill? Yes. Bill comes to Wednesday night. He's been coming since last August. Hard to believe. Notice how I've segued just beautifully into this? Bill started coming last August. We've been in the sanctuary now almost a year, and Bill will tell you, and so will John Claude, who comes just about every week. It's growing. The community, the Sangha of meditators is growing on Wednesdays. More and more people are coming because of what I'm pointing at right now. Unity is providing us with this beautiful gift that we don't have to meditate alone. Think about it. If you come on Wednesday, you're halfway to the next Sunday service. So even if you forget for a couple of days, even if you're hearing me now going, and the mind is saying, oh, I am dedicating myself to meditation today. I'm going, no, and then it'll say, but let's see, we already had a really good meditation this morning, so that takes care of today. But tomorrow, I know that I'm going to be still. I want to merge back into the ocean. Well, Monday gets busy. Tuesday, you're depressed. And then Wednesday comes, but you can say, they're meditating in the temple today. And this is a temple, is it not? It's a sanctuary. Don't you love the name sanctuary? Come on Wednesday and take sanctuary in the depth and the ocean of presence. Impersonal presence, which is you and you and you and you, all of us in this ocean. These meditations on Wednesday, as it was today, are getting deeper and deeper and more profound. Isn't it true, John Claude? So we have this beautiful gift. Every time I come here, it's like Christmas morning, right? Both on Sunday and on Wednesday. I get to come every week. Lucky me. And then for all of you, you get Wednesday and you go home, you're all filled up, and then, okay, Thursday, you'll say, well, I meditated a really long time last night with Craig, so that's got me good today, and on. And then by Saturday, you're a little depleted, but you can come back on Sunday. You see? So you get 2 days of practice in. Here's my point. This is practice. Anyone will tell you, Atoshi will tell you that his longing to merge with the cello and master the way he has, his longing to do that, he practiced because he wanted it. It wasn't always easy. But we're talking now not even about cello. We're talking about the grace of God. We're talking about your inner freedom. In the midst of the madness that is going on in this world, you have that capability to be free. Isn't that what Jesus said? Isn't that what Ramana Maharshi said and Eckhart Tolle and every other teacher? Your purpose in this life is to be free and to know yourself as the ocean of God that you are. Stop thinking you're this little wave, this little drop with all its problems. Reemerge again into the vast ocean of presence that is living you and taking care of the entire cosmos. Swim in the Tao. Swim in the Tao. Let's close our eyes for a moment. And get a sense as you close your eyes. Literally swimming. Dissolved in that ocean of presence. The mind dissolved in that ocean of the Tao. Feel yourself free. If not now, when? When? Give yourself to your life, to the life that you are. Take a breath within, and as you breathe out, internally repeat the sound of ah to yourself, letting go into that ocean. Ah. And feel as you breathe in again, breathing in, I have arrived. Breathing out, I swim in the ocean of the Tao.
Thank you, Reverend Craig, for bringing your Tao tribe here every Wednesday and leading us. And I want to give a shout out to Mary Jean and Marcos, if he's here, and all the boards from the past and present for keeping us going here, our Sangha. We are so blessed. Now is the time we welcome our newcomers who've maybe never been here swimming with us yet. Here at Unity, we believe in many paths, one God. Our evolutionary purpose is to transform lives and make a positive difference in our world. We are a very diverse community, and whatever your background, your beliefs, please join us in our spiritual path. If you're new here for the first time, we would like to welcome you and honor you by giving you a flower and an information card so you can find out what's going on around here. So if you feel comfortable doing so, please raise your hand and our ushers will bring you the card and the flower. Welcome. Thank you so much. It is also the time that we receive our love offerings from those who have been here before, not for our newcomers. We so appreciate your generosity in maintaining our beautiful grounds and helping us budget so we know what to do. So many of us give on a regular basis, and you can do that online or by signing up in the office. The many ways to give are listed in the bulletin. If you're at home, you just click on that donate tab. And I want to tell you about my personal miracle. Last Sunday was Green Bag Sunday, and I brought $70 worth of goodies for those who are food challenged. And then Monday morning, as I was balancing my checkbook and my accounts, there was miraculously a $700 unexpected, unexplained credit in one of my accounts. So, you know the saying, as you give, you receive. So I encourage you to give generously now. So the ushers are going to pass around the baskets, and thank you.
Patty. So as we continue to pass the receptacles around, we'll just say that, all the abundance we can look at in our life, all of our needs are met. It's likely all of you, your needs are met in your life today. This gratitude for the abundance that flows from this, as we've said today, the ocean of the Tao is tremendous, isn't it? And of course, what we receive, we give. And it's a circle, it's reciprocal, it keeps moving in a circle. So remember that this community that feeds you spiritually, that you can be a part of. I talked a lot about this in last month's Dharma talk, the power of Sangha. And as I always say, can you imagine if you showed up here today and there's a big sign, sorry, couldn't pay the electric bill today, no service. No, really. All of you and your contributions are what keep the lights on, the musician is here. Everything is happening seamlessly. It's so beautiful when I arrive on Sunday and how everything is taken care of so beautifully by the Tao and by all of these people that give their energy, their time, and their resources. So give. It is a law, as Patty was getting at, that whatever you give, you get so much back, right? So I always mention Mother Teresa's teaching, give until it hurts. Yeah. Okay. So let's do the love offering blessing. I think it's overhead here. And divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. So it is. Thank Yes. That's okay, Patty. We can meditate another half hour. That'll be good.
I guess it's time for announcements. Next Sunday in room 5, we welcome anyone interested in becoming a member here. So here's why you want to become a member. The prayer chaplains are going to call you once a month at home and give you a personal private prayer. And you only get that if you're a member. What else? Well, you really feel like you're part of us and you get to vote. You can vote our new boards and vote all our proposals, like do we really want to have that preschool here or whatever. So please join us and find out why you want to be a member next Sunday at 1 in room 5. Then on the last Sunday of the month, which this month happens to be the 5th Sunday, it's July 30th, we as a community come together. We are mystical, but we are activists in helping our community. So 7 years ago, we got together with other spiritual communities in our neighborhood and put together the Sunday Supper, which we host on the 5th Sunday and whenever they need a substitute. So our beloved Susan Gilmore, our outreach director, organizes some 40 volunteers to put together this dinner to feed those who are food challenged. So we need you to sign up with Susan in the patio after church to help us on this coming Sunday, July 30th. It's from about 2 to 5, and she really needs people who hand out groceries, our green bag groceries, or who serve at the tables. Well, the good thing is it's shaded, it's outdoors, so you feel safe, and we welcome you to sign up. And if you really love baking, no matter what the outdoor temperature is, we would appreciate any homemade goodies that you would like to bake and bring. Okay, so it is time for us to go outside and chat and get to know each other. Stop at the information table and pick up find out what's going on. We have some amazing spirit groups and other teams meeting now. And this is where you really get to know people in depth. I mean, people I met 20 years ago, I may not see them again in a group for 5 years, but it's like we know each other's souls. We are connected. So outside, our Reiki practitioners are wearing the green ribbons. They will do Reiki on you. And the prayer chaplains have white ribbons. You meet them at the entrance to the garden, and they will pray with you in confidence. So join us outside, and it's time to eat, drink, and be merry, I guess, okay? Thank you so much. Would you like to join me in the prayer for protection here? The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.